In the heart of Africa, a new alliance is rising, bold, unshaken, and fueled by a vision as old as the continent itself. From the revolutionary streets of Ouagadougou to the commanding corridors of Kampala, two leaders, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the youthful firebrand of Burkina Faso, and President Yoweri Museveni, the seasoned Pan-Africanist of Uganda, are forging a bond that defies borders, generations, and the lingering chains of neocolonialism. This is not just a diplomatic friendship, it is a strategic brotherhood, a convergence of minds and missions. One represents the fierce awakening of Africa's new generation, the other, a pillar of resilience and experience in African leadership. Together, they echo the call of Sankara, Nkrumah, Lumumba, and the great visionaries who dared to dream of a united, self-reliant Africa. In a time when the continent stands at a crossroads, the relationship between Traoré and Museveni is more than symbolic, it is a blueprint for the African Renaissance. This is the story of shared purpose, revolutionary spirit, and the unstoppable force of Pan-African unity. 2. Foundations of the relationship. At the root of every powerful alliance lies a moment of recognition, a spark where shared values collide with strategic necessity. The foundations of the relationship between Captain Ibrahim Traoré and President Yoweri Museveni are not merely political, they are deeply ideological and symbolically charged. 1. The diplomatic spark. In September 2023, a quiet yet powerful diplomatic gesture took place. President Museveni received Colonel Ismail Diawari, a special envoy from Captain Traoré, at State House Entebbe. This meeting wasn't just a formality, it was a message. A message that Burkina Faso, under new leadership, was reaching out to a veteran Pan-African giant. The discussion centered on peace, development, and regional solidarity. But beneath the official agenda was something deeper, mutual recognition of purpose and mission. 2. Ideological chemistry. What immediately binds Traoré and Museveni is ideological clarity. Both men stand firmly against external domination and preach the gospel of African self-determination. Traoré's bold rejection of foreign military presence mirrors the early days of Museveni's revolutionary leadership, fierce, unapologetic, and rooted in African pride. They both see Africa's liberation not as a dream, but a duty. 3. Generational synergy. While Museveni brings decades of experience in political survival, Traoré offers fresh revolutionary energy and bold defiance. This fusion of wisdom and youth forms a rare but powerful dynamic, proof that Pan-Africanism is not bound by age, but by conviction. In their relationship, we see a transfer of revolutionary fire, from an elder statesman to a rising warrior. 3. Shared Pan-African vision. When Captain Ibrahim Traoré and President Yoweri Museveni speak, the continent listens, not just because of their positions, but because their voices carry the weight of Africa's unfinished revolution. Together, they represent a growing chorus of leaders demanding a future where Africa controls its own destiny, free from exploitation, division, and dependency. 1. A revival of Sankara and Nkrumah's dream. Traoré often invokes the spirit of Thomas Sankara, the iconic revolutionary who dared to believe in a sovereign, self-sufficient Burkina Faso. Museveni, on the other hand, has long walked in the ideological footsteps of Kwame Nkrumah, who envisioned a united, industrialized Africa. Their shared mission, to revive that Pan-African flame, to turn past dreams into present action. 2. Bold rejection of neocolonialism. Traoré has drawn global attention for boldly rejecting foreign military presence and refusing to be a puppet of global powers. His call, to end imperialism and fight poverty through African unity, has electrified youth across the continent. Museveni, too, has consistently criticized Western meddling in African affairs, emphasizing that true development cannot occur while Africa continues to export raw materials and import dependency. Together, they ask tough questions. Why does Africa remain rich in resources but poor in power? Who benefits from Africa's disunity? 3. A common voice on global platforms. At the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, both leaders delivered thunderous messages. Traoré challenged fellow African leaders to stop bowing to foreign interests. Museveni called for value addition, industrialization, and independence from external aid traps. Their messages weren't rehearsed. They were raw, urgent, and unapologetically African. 4. Strategic collaboration. Beyond powerful speeches and shared ideologies, Captain Ibrahim Traoré and President Yoweri Museveni are crafting something even more impactful, a quiet but potent alliance of action. Their relationship is steadily evolving into a force of strategic collaboration, grounded in the urgent needs of a continent battling insecurity, economic exploitation, and external manipulation. 1. Security and military wisdom exchange. Burkina Faso remains at the front lines of the war against jihadist insurgencies that plague the Sahel region. In contrast, Uganda, under Museveni's leadership, has decades of experience in counterinsurgency, regional peacekeeping, and military self-reliance. Museveni's Uganda has built strong, locally led defense forces and intelligence systems. For Traoré, this is more than impressive, it's instructive. Reports suggest that the Burkinabe leadership views Museveni as a strategic elder, someone who can guide them through the treacherous terrain of both internal and foreign threats. This opens the door for joint military training, intelligence sharing, defense diplomacy between Kampala and Ouagadougou. 2. Economic and political guidance. Museveni's experience with state building, economic stabilization, and Pan-African diplomacy positions him as a mentor figure. Uganda's strides in agriculture, education reform, and regional trade offer a practical model that Burkina Faso can adapt under Traoré's leadership. This is not about imitation, it's about inter-African learning, where African states don't wait for Western experts but learn directly from each other. 3. Building a continental bloc. Together, Traoré and Museveni may become the backbone of a new African alliance, a network of like-minded leaders across the continent who are no longer content with symbolic unity, but who demand economic justice, resource control, and continental defense capabilities. Their cooperation could signal the birth of an African-led security and economic bloc, independent from Western or Eastern superpower influences. 5. Symbolism and recognition. In African politics, symbolism is power. The images we honor, the awards we give, and the voices we celebrate reveal not only what we value, but where we're headed. The growing bond between Captain Ibrahim Traoré and President Yoweri Museveni has been reinforced not just through diplomacy and strategy, but through symbolic acts that speak volumes across the continent. 1. A revolutionary crown in Ouagadougou. In January 2025, a landmark moment occurred. Captain Ibrahim Traoré was awarded the Pan-African Revolutionary Leadership Award, right in the capital city of Burkina Faso. But this wasn't just any accolade. It came from the Pan-African Pyramid, a Ugandan-based organization led by the passionate Pan-Africanist, Andrew Iramba Katasabe. The message was loud and clear. Uganda recognized Traoré not only as a national leader but as a continental icon. Standing shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Sankara, Lumumba, and Nkrumah. This wasn't just a medal. It was a passing of the revolutionary torch. 2. Unity across borders. The presence of a Ugandan delegation in Burkina Faso for such a prestigious award sends a powerful message of inter-African solidarity. It's not common for a Pan-African group based in East Africa to celebrate a West African military leader so vocally, yet here, boundaries dissolved. This moment was more than ceremony. It was a visual statement of a continent finally embracing its own heroes, not waiting for Western approval or media validation. 3. A new kind of recognition. Traoré's rising status is symbolic of a generational shift, where youth, bravery, and bold rejection of neocolonialism are the new badges of honor. And Museveni's embrace of this rising leader shows that African elders are not threatened by African youth, they are empowering them. Museveni's indirect but visible support adds legitimacy to Traoré's mission. It creates a rare bridge between legacy and revolution, between seasoned leadership and radical transformation. 6. Implications for Africa. The partnership between Captain Ibrahim Traoré and President Yoweri Museveni is more than a bilateral alliance. It is a signal fire, lighting the way for a new kind of African leadership. As their relationship deepens, it carries profound implications not only for Burkina Faso and Uganda but for the entire continent. 1. A new model of leadership. In Traoré and Museveni, Africa witnesses a powerful convergence of youth and experience, of fresh revolutionary zeal and seasoned strategic wisdom. This partnership breaks the myth that Africa must choose between old leadership or new. It proves that intergenerational solidarity can work, and when it does, it can transform nations. They model a leadership that is principled over polished, strategic over symbolic, rooted in African values over foreign validation. 2. A challenge to neocolonialism. This relationship sends a clear message to the world's powers: Africa is reclaiming its agency. No longer willing to be a playground for global interests, leaders like Traoré and Museveni are showing that real power lies in self-determination, regional unity, and resource control. Their alliance could inspire more African states to end exploitative foreign military presence, build continental alliances over dependency, speak boldly on global platforms without fear. 3. Fueling continental unity. This is not just about two leaders, it's about the awakening of a Pan-African spirit. As Burkina Faso and Uganda deepen their bond, they invite others to join a wider movement toward African-led security frameworks, intra-African economic partnerships, cultural and ideological revival of unity and pride. If nurtured, this bond could become the foundation of a new African bloc, one that values sovereignty, dignity, and collaboration above all. 4. Inspiration for the youth. Perhaps most powerfully, their relationship sends a blazing message to Africa's young people. You are not too young to lead. You are not too late to liberate. With Museveni's mentorship and Traoré's courage, young Africans are reminded that the future is not something to wait for, it is something to build. Conclusion. The rise of a revolutionary alliance. From the heart of West Africa to the green hills of East Africa, a powerful story is unfolding, a story of defiance, vision, and unity. Captain Ibrahim Traoré and President Yoweri Museveni may come from different generations and different struggles, but they are walking one path, the path toward a sovereign, self-reliant Africa. Their alliance is not built on convenience, but on conviction. It is a living testament to what happens when revolution meets wisdom, when courage meets strategy, and when two nations decide to break the chains of history and write a new African future, together. This is the beginning of something bigger than politics. It's a movement, a message, a continental call to rise. So, if you believe in the African awakening, if you believe in unity, strength, and sovereignty, then don't just watch this story, be part of it. Like, share, and subscribe to keep the fire burning. Spread the message, ignite the conversation, because the Africa we dream of won't be given, it must be built. And it starts with voices like yours.